The 4 best passive income investments. Aside from the difference in tax classification, many individuals seek passive income to bolster cash flows. And the term has grown in common parlance to include activities like working from home or side gigs that require little effort. Some ways to generate passive income involve becoming a limited partner in a partnership. However, ordinary individuals can look to other ways to put their money to work for them. The passive investing strategies below warrant a closer look. Real estate. Despite fluctuations over the recent years, real estate persists as a preferred choice for investors looking to generate long-term returns. Specifically, rental properties can furnish apartment owners with a regular income source. The investor can easily acquire a property for a 20% down payment, then install reliable tenants who keep the money flowing. Real estate crowdfunding presents a middle ground solution. Investors have their choice of equity or debt investments in both commercial and residential properties. REITs pay out 90% of their taxable income as dividends to investors. On the downside, dividends are taxed as ordinary income, which may be problematic for investors in higher tax brackets. Real estate crowdfunding presents a middle ground solution. Investors have their choice of equity or debt investments in both commercial and residential properties. Peer-to-peer lending. Although the peer-to-peer lending industry is just over a decade old, it has grown by leaps and bounds. It is defined as the act of directly lending money to a person or a business entity, where lenders and the borrowers are connected via online platforms such as Prosper and Lending Club. Returns typically range from 7% to 12%, and there's very little the investor must do after initially funding the loan. Peer-to-peer programs generally have fewer barriers to entry than other types of investments. Dividend stocks. Dividend stocks are one of the simplest ways for investors to create passive income. As public companies generate profits, a portion of those earnings are siphoned off and funneled back to investors in the form of dividends. Investors can decide to pocket the cash or reinvest the money in additional shares. Dividend yields can vary significantly from one company to the next, and they can also fluctuate from year to year. Investors unsure about which dividend-paying stocks to choose should stick to the ones that fit the Dividend Aristocrat label, which means the company has at least a 25-year track record of paying out substantial dividends. Index funds. Index funds are mutual funds or exchange-traded funds linked to a particular market index. These funds aim to mirror the performance of the underlying index they track and are passively managed. Therefore, their underlying securities don't change unless the composition of the index shifts. For investors, this translates to lower management costs and lower turnover rates, which makes them more tax-efficient vehicles than many other investments.